The iPhone 13 series was released about a year and a half ago, which included the iPhone 13 mini, Apple's last mini iPhone. Later on, once the iPhone 14 was released, people realized it was the exact same thing as the iPhone 13 and just settled to get 13s instead. The iPhone 13 mini brings almost everything from the regular 13, only in a smaller package. So let's get into the video. So, James Adams here. The thing people make fun of most about the iPhone 13 series is how similar it is to the iPhone 12. But when you really dive into it and look at the specs, you notice a lot of things that are different. The biggest visual difference between the 13 and 12 is the diagonal camera layout. You could call this a pretty minor upgrade. But the iPhone 13 upgrades the three most important things in a smartphone: the screen, the camera, and the battery life. It has an excellent display with a very good resolution. Apple doesn't like to disclose the numbers or specs of their phones, but I can tell you that you have to look pretty hard and strain your eyes to be able to see the individual pixels on the screen. It also has a very bright screen measured at 825 nits, which is significantly brighter than the iPhone 12 brightness at 625 nits. This is also an OLED display, meaning that when something black is being shown, those pixels are actually turned off. One way to explain this is like on your TV screen or computer screen, when the screen goes black, it's actually displaying a pretty dark blue. But on the iPhone 13 mini, when it's showing something black, it's actually black, and the black blends in with the bezel pretty well too. It's pretty vibrant and displays colors pretty accurately. The screen measures diagonally about 5.4 inches across, making it pretty small. After all, it is a mini phone. The entire phone itself is about the same size as one of Apple's older home button phones, but the screen is bigger due to the new notch design. Speaking of the notch is also smaller on this phone than it was on the 12s, like it was squished from the sides to make it taller and narrower. Now, I know the new iPhone 14 Pro got the dynamic island, but I'm fine with the stationary peninsula, to be honest. It is a denser feeling phone than the iPhone 12 mini, and it's a little heavier, but not enough to make a very big difference. It's also made of the same materials as the iPhone 12, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think the glass on the back and the matte rails on the sides feel pretty nice. This doesn't even really matter though, as you're probably going to end up putting a case on the phone anyway once you get it. This year they upgraded the processor again to the A15 Bionic chip, but they did it right this time by pairing a power-hungry chip with a larger battery. And the battery life, well, it got a lot better this year. And the chip, of course, is a very high-end fast chip. Here are the benchmark scores if you want to see them. People complained about the battery on the iPhone 12 mini a lot, but for the iPhone 13 mini this year, the battery life has been great for my brother, who, by the way, is the owner of this phone. Say hi.
Hi.
He's been getting about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time every single charge, which is really good. But he sadly though is a gamer. Lightly using it, you could probably get 2 full days of use out of it on one charge. That is really good. Then of course the cameras were upgraded again this year. They now have larger sensors, which is why they had to rearrange them diagonally to fit on a small little square. These new sensors let in a ton of light, and as always, 4K video still looks great. It is still only 12 megapixels though, which is pretty bad in 2023, and the pictures will pixelate pretty quickly if you zoom in. In the Android world, you would expect a lot more for this from a $700 phone, considering that something like the Pixel 7 can have a 50 megapixel camera. That is $600. All of the iPhone 13 series, including the mini, have a new feature called photographic styles. There's a new button in the camera app, and when you click on it, it lets you swipe through the 5 options for how you want your photos to look. It only works with photos though, no videos. There's the standard option, which looks like just the default iPhone images. Then there's the rich contrast option, which I think looks kinda like Google Pixel photos. Then there's vibrant, warm, and cool. Apple insists that photographic styles aren't just filters, but actually changes in the way the phone processes your images. This seems a lot like filters to me, but you let me know down in the comments if you think otherwise. It's pretty interesting to me that this feature was introduced with a new iPhone rather than coming to all phones through an iOS update. Now in the middle, I'm proud to say that this video has a sponsor, and that sponsor is me. So you're probably wondering where I got this wallpaper from, and it's from my new website, James Adams Media. This wallpaper is from the new American Patriot wallpaper pack, which I just released and spent a lot of time working on. It comes with 8 backgrounds to get into the 4th of July mood. Now I know only about 14% of you guys are American, but I've also got another wallpaper pack for Halloween, which isn't really relevant until October. It's just $2 for all 8 of them for the entire pack, so you can just look in the description and see the link. It's jamesadamsmedia.gumroad.com. Back to the video. The iPhone 13 lineup also comes with a strange new video feature called cinematic mode, which is basically portrait mode video. It uses AI to automatically blur the background, which is pretty useless to most people, but it sounds kinda useful to a YouTuber or content creator like myself. But then cinematic mode is only available in 1080p, which doesn't sound very cinematic to me. Cinematic mode also struggles in low light, and you can't use the wide lens with it either. And as usual, night mode looks fantastic on this phone. Here are some samples from the camera. I think those looked pretty good, but you let me know down in the comments what you thought. So the iPhone 13 mini is a pretty solid phone considering all these upgrades it has compared to the iPhone 12. But then it will set you back $600. So if you already have the iPhone 12 mini, just don't upgrade. There's just not enough differences. The base storage also got bumped up to 128 gigabytes with the iPhone 13 series, which is 64 gigabytes more than the iPhone 12 series base model. You also might be thinking about the iPhone 14 lineup, which got rid of the mini in favor of having a plus-sized iPhone instead, if you would like a plus-sized phone. There is almost no upgrade from the 13 to the 14, except that the iPhone 14 can detect car crashes and text 911 to a satellite. So I'd say if you have something earlier than the iPhone 11, an upgrade to the 13 might be worth it. But I'd say if you have an iPhone 12 already, you should wait till the iPhone 15 or 16 before you upgrade. You could also get an Android phone instead, and I would recommend switching to the Google Pixel 7a. You'd be getting everything from the iPhone 13 series just for $450. Plus a bunch of other better stuff like a good chip, a hole punch display, and the best part is the software. The Pixel 7a has a lot of new advanced smart features and seriously undercuts the price of the iPhone 13 mini by a lot. But if you still don't have the nerve to start sending green texts, then the iPhone 13 mini is still a good option. So I'll give this phone a pretty generous 8 out of 10 star rating. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more of these videos. That's all for today guys, and thanks for watching. Peace.